LD11, welcome, welcome. It's great to see everybody. Happy Wednesday. You guys bear with me today because I'm technology challenged today. I usually have 3 screens and I'm working on a laptop because I'm sitting in a hotel room right now. So it's going to be fun trying to maneuver all the things. So we have a packed night tonight. We have some candidates as guest speakers tonight. If we do get any elected officials, we'll hear from them, and then we have some reports from our committee, our executive committee. So I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. And last month, or the last time we met, we had a in-person meeting, and it was very informal. And we just talked, a roundtable talk. So there's really not an agenda from last time to approve, but this month's agenda, I'll pop it up really quick. Share screen options. I told you guys it's going to get interesting. All right, there we go. Share. So this is tonight's agenda for August 13th. And then we'll have approval of the previous minutes, and we'll do roll call and introductions. Quick introductions, just state your name, and we'll keep moving on. All right, so let's go. And I am Signa Oliver. I am the LD11 chair, and I will kick it over to my first vice chair, which is Chester.
Hello, everyone. Chester here. Not a whole lot to report. I attended tonight the 1 Million Rising virtual rally, which was pretty cool. There's over 4,000 people in that Zoom meeting. And the House Minority Leader of the Texas House of Representatives was a guest speaker, talking about fighting the good fight and resisting this gerrymandering push that our king is asking for. So you can actually watch the recordings of all of their past videos, which are all about organizing. If you go to nokings.org/rise. So I had to work during the first 2, but I plan to watch all 3 of those and start putting that information to use. On top of that, I'm taking over our Contest Every Race grant program. Contest Every Race will grant us $200 a month if we meet the requirements. That's going through the information they provide, and that is also all about organizing, and not just organizing, but getting attention. Shown city, state. It's happening in Washington, but trying to better our communities, and that's what we need to be doing. We need to be focusing on just watching. This is my favorite. Whatever you might watch, you can't just watch the news and sad. You got to get out there. On top of that, the band book club is meeting last Sunday of each month. We're going to keep doing that. Last month we read All Boys Aren't Blue, which was interesting. It is a memoir by a young Black genderqueer person talking about their struggles, but also trying to inspire future generations who struggle with the same. issues. And this month we're reading 1984. I hadn't read in many years, but wow, is it apropos? It is just, honestly, it feels like a roadmap for fascism. It's like they read this book and got excited and said, "Yeah, let's do that." So it's fascinating and it's a little depressing at the same time. So trigger warning if you're going to read that. We'll be meeting every month at the Barrows on 24th Street and Baseline. If you want to join us, last Sunday of the month to talk about the book of the month. And that's all I've got.
Yeah. And Chester, it may be your fan behind you, but you're going in and out. I just
Am
know.
I? Okay.
Yeah, it might be your fan. And Lindsay?
I think she just got home.
I did just get home, so
Yes.
bear with me. At this time, I really don't have too much other than, starting to get ideas and thought processes together for this fall, so I can put together a big PC meeting and PC trainings and kind of get more people out there. I encourage everybody to start having those daily conversations with your neighbors, with your friends, just everybody who you talk to. Say, hey, start the conversation with you registered to vote, where do you live? Hey, we're trying to do this, etc. That way we can get more traffic to our website, more traffic to our events, etc. I think it's amazing that we have had, and I've missed past couple of book clubs and I apologize, but we've had really good turnout and we've had a lot of fun. And, when it cools off, we'll do hiking again, because I think all of us coming together and prepping ourselves for what's going to happen come probably January, it's going to be 11 months of a fight and we have to be ready. It's time for us to stand up and fight and be verbal and really push back on this, because I don't know about you guys, but I am tired and I am so upset about the things that are going on. And I know here in our district, we have amazing representatives with Yasmin, great senators, but we got to get more people to vote. That's point and simple. We've got a huge district. We need to be doing more events. We need to be doing this. And I need more than one person, me, being super excited and jumping around going, yay! Let's make a difference finally. Look, I know that there's a lot of tension in the Democratic Party nationwide. Everyone keeps looking for the next Obama. Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Midterms are actually more flippin' important because right now we don't have control of any single branch of government. Period. That's not okay. There's zero checks and balances. So I encourage all of you, keep your heads up. I know we're all kind of a little overheated. I just drove home from my office, so I'm hot. We're feeling a little low, maybe kind of like, I don't really, but it's time to psych yourself up. It's time to get people involved. It's time to really get ready for the push that we are planning to do. That's really it.
Thanks, Lindsay. Shelby, who just
All right.
returned last year from across the pond.
Yeah, and I'm heading to Maryland tomorrow. All right. So anyway, we mentioned that there is going to be our first happy hour in quite a while at Tacos Chilango on 24th Street and Baseline. And if you haven't eaten there, it's absolutely amazing. They have a wonderful margarita that comes in both 16 and 24 ounces, in case you need 24 ounces of tequila and lemon lime flavor. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's next Friday. We're going to do that. There's already 13 people signed up for our next book club that Chester mentioned. We have 3 people signed up so far. It is at Barrows Pizza from 3 to 5, the last Sunday of the month. And most recently, I attended a postcard writing party with Healthcare Rising. They did the ballot initiative for Prop 139 for a woman's right to choose. And this postcard writing party happened to be in our neck of the woods in South Mountain. And some people from there who actually lived in the area were interested in getting involved with LD11. And so there have been some new people emailing us and inquiring about becoming PCs, and some of them registered for this meeting as well. So, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody next Friday. Thank you, thank you.
All right. Thank you, team. Just I'll get to my chair's report. We have a very packed meeting tonight. We've got a lot of wonderful guest speakers for you to hear from. And hold on. Again, I'm working from one screen. Usually I have 3 screens, and so it's going to be fun to try to see if I can do all the things that I think I can do on these screens. So let me get started with the chair's report right after I give control over, thought I could give control over to you. I'll just go ahead and go. Here we go. So let's go ahead and get started. If you can see my screen, it's the welcome. Sadia, I don't know if I saw Sadia jump on, but there's a treasurer's report. Sadia, are you on? I don't see her, so I'll give her treasurer's report a little later. So let's get started. I just wanted to say happy birthday. Last week on Monday was our 44th president, Barack Obama's birthday. He turned 64, and the reason I know that is because he's a week older than me, and so I turned 64 this week. So we're old timers. Here we go. Here you will see there's a lot of things that are holidays and observances this month. The International Youth Day was August 12th. August 19th is the World Humanitarian Day. Senior Citizens Day, which I guess I'm a part of, is August 21st. Women's Equality Day is August 26th. And August 1st through 7th was World's Breastfeeding Week. And the same week was National Minority Donor Awareness Week. All right, so here, the big bogus bill, because I refuse to call it what they call it. But basically, you probably already know, but I just wanted to hit a couple of the high points of the things that, let's go back. That horrible bill does. It, of course, is going to take people off Medicaid, and some of those are going to go into effect on in 2026, as early as 2026, as well as food assistance, same thing. A lot of people are going to be food insecure, where we have the ability and the resources to feed the people in the United States of America. That bill added an 80-hour-a-month work requirement to the bill under the guise of, if you don't work, you don't eat. Student loans, for those of you that have scholars that are getting ready to go off to college, the cap for federal student loans is $100,000 for grad students. Those of us with graduate degrees know that that's nothing. It doesn't affect undergrad, but $200,000 for law and medical students, which today may not be enough, because I know my law degree cost about $100,000 30 years ago. And then the rollbacks on the clean energy incentives is the thing that is just ridiculous. That's going to really, harm our children's future. It seems like that's what they're gearing for, but just wanted to have, raise awareness about that. So we had the opportunity in July to hear from our U.S. Senator, Mark Kelly. He had several community leaders from around the state that spoke about how that bogus bill would impact and is already impacted, had already started to impact their organizations, SNAP organizations, family organizations, all kind of aid organizations were bracing. And then I know I work for a hospital system right now. And we have hospitals in the Central and West Valley that have a mixed payer platform, which will impact our bottom line. We're pretty big, we're a very large hospital system across the United States, but still cutting Medicaid and or Medicare will have a big impact on the most vulnerable in our population. My hospital will continue to offer services because that's what we were founded upon. But other rural hospitals may not have the resources that my hospital has, my hospital system has to stay open. So more to come. But one of the messages that Senator Kelly emphasized was that we can't give up. We have to be the change. I think some of my board or my committee was like, nobody's coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. It's all hands on deck. Everybody, everywhere that can do something must do something. Everything is important. Everything you do is important. It's not going to be easy, but nothing worth fighting for ever is. So we're here, we're in the fight, we're going to stay in the fight, and we're going to make the change. There are several upcoming events. The Arizona State Committee meeting is going to be on September 13th. All state committee members will have an opportunity to vote on different initiatives. I don't think the agenda has come out, but I do know that we have 3 candidates that are running for the Arizona Dems Party chair because in July, the chair, Robert Branscombe, was voted out. And so it's open. We have David Braun on, and I'm going to give Dave some time a little later. He's going to talk about the Maricopa County Dems Champagne Brunch that's being held on September 20th. Chester already talked about our book club. There's also on August 19th, next Tuesday from 11 to 12, if you have an opportunity, the Arizona Commission of African American Affairs is having their meeting. You can sign up via Zoom. All of this is in our newsletter, or you can attend in person at the Capitol, 1700 West Washington. And then there is going to be a candidate forum. I believe it's August 16th from 1 to 3 p.m. And that information to sign up for that will also be in our newsletter. And like I said, the state committee meeting is Saturday, September 13th. More information will be coming. Watch your newsletter. We lost a hero a week or so ago, Alfredo Gutierrez, who was a state senator, a fierce advocate for this state and the people of this state. He's going to be sorely missed. This man for decades championed every cause worth championing, and he is going to be missed. His legacy is great. And more to come. I think I haven't seen anything about his services. I did see something about a memorial, possibly, I think I saw September, but as soon as we know that, it will definitely go in our newsletter and we'll send out communications. So anyone that wants to pay respects to this great, fierce warrior, keep an eye out on when we can do so. Something extraordinary happened this weekend. Robert, and I'm not going to massacre his name, but Robert worked with missions. Robert was murdered in his home on the 10th of August. He worked with Kathleen Harris Admissions. He worked on Keisha Hodge Washington's campaign. He worked with Harris Walls, his future. He worked on Kwesi Smith's campaign. His future was so absolutely bright. And I don't believe that the person who did this is in custody. There was a news report that was out on in the AZ News. You can check it out. I'll try to drop some links on the different events, and I'll try to drop the news article in the chat when our speakers are speaking. So take a look at that. But this is a huge loss. This was somebody that was preparing for a great future. And it is a horrendous loss for anyone that interacted with him. He was the best, sweetest, most amazing soul. And definitely he was taken away from us way too early. So any services information, we'll try to get that to you about him as well. I'm sorry to be this way. Okay, so we are gonna be meeting up in person next Friday, August 22nd, at Taco Chilango, as Shelby told us. It's at 2320 East Baseline Road. We'll be there from 6 to 8. Let's come together, let's hug each other, let's, strategize and become that force that we know we can be. We definitely need to do so. And then our LD11 September meeting will be in person. We're still working on the details. It will be Wednesday, September 10th, and I will have that venue to you within the next week or so. What are your questions? Thank you for listening, and I'm sorry. I didn't know I was going to have this reaction. Anyway, so let me go to our agenda and get myself in order. Hold on. Let me end my slideshow. Get rid of that. I'm working on one screen. Thank you for your
Signa,
yeah.
I would like to point out that you have amazing compassion, and that's what makes all of us do what we do. So don't feel sorry. We all feel the hurt.
Yeah. Okay, so we have some guest speakers today. The first guest speaker, and I'm going to add one because there's a fundraiser that we have 2 guest speakers that are running for the Arizona Superintendent of Schools. Our first candidate will give about 5 minutes because we do have a packed schedule. I wish I could give you more. Is Dr. Michael Butts. Michael, if you want to unmute and talk to LD11.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you for the time that you've given me to talk to my very own district, who have been second vice chair for 2 years prior to this last election. So thank you. And hello to the executive board team and all of the LD11 members. I do have my daughter in the background. I'm on daddy duty, so I may be needing to pause for a second, but I'll go ahead and move forward with a formal speech that I prepared for you guys. And so I'll get right into that with this being 5 minutes. So again, my name is Michael Butts, and I'm a proud father, former police officer with Cincinnati Police Department in Ohio, a teacher, an assistant principal, and an elected school board member, as you all know, with the Roosevelt School District. But more importantly, I'm a Democrat who is running for superintendent of public instruction. 20 years ago, I left the police force when I realized I would never bend the arc of our children's future towards success and moral courage if I didn't reach them earlier. And I knew that the surest way to do that was by providing them access to excellent schools and qualified teachers. That's because knowledge is the ladder to opportunity. And that is what led me to teaching in public schools and earning my doctorate in education. I worked in schools that serve communities as an educator of all backgrounds, with many families living at or below the poverty line. What unites all of these schools, though, are the students. No matter where they live or what background they come from, children arrive for their first day of school curious, hopeful, and filled with potential. As they grow and learn, they begin to dream about what they can do in the world and about the person they could one day become. Their future is unwritten and all things are possible. To help students on this journey, there's a dedicated team of professionals in our public schools, from teachers and administrators to social workers, food service personnel, bus drivers, paraprofessionals, and the men and women who ensure campus safety and operations. They're there to support learning, and they need our support too. Right now, they're not getting it. Like you, I've seen the legislature starve education, siphon money into private schools, denigrate science, ban books, underpay teachers, and rewrite American history. Now, Donald Trump's jumping in with even more funding cuts, abolishing the Department of Education, and inflicting on us some of the cruelest, most divisive politics America's ever seen. And is Superintendent Tom Horne fighting to protect our children? No. He actually said President Trump should dismantle the Department of Education. And Superintendent Tom Horne has partnered Arizona schools with an alt-right curriculum that teaches that slavery was, and I quote, a compromise to achieve something great. It also teaches that fossil fuels aren't causing global warming. And that murder victim, George Floyd, was just, and again I quote, a Black man who resisted arrest. We need to get the damaged and intolerant people who teach false history and deny science out of our public schools. At this moment in Arizona, children and schools don't just need an administrator. They need a champion, a leader who values public education and free thinking, and who will rally people to fight for them at the Capitol. That's what I'll do in this election as your next superintendent. I hope you'll join my campaign to protect the dreams and opportunities of a new generation. And I hope you'll become a part of this effort to return the oversight of public schools to leaders who want to see them succeed. I am the only candidate for superintendent that's running clean. I am the only candidate that's beholden to no one. And as a people-powered candidate, I'll never stop fighting for public schools. Thank you. With that, Madam Chair, I'll turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Butts. Next up, we will have Dr. Ruiz. She has some information for us. She's also running for Superintendent of Public Instruction. Dr. Ruiz.
Thank you, Signa. So great to see everyone. LD11, I'm a proud resident and have lived here really my whole life. I think I spoke to this group a couple of months ago. So what I wanted to share is that, you know, the campaign is moving fast. We logged over 500 miles just this past weekend, traveling the state, making sure that we are listening to voters all around Arizona. We were invited to Fort Apache as part of the White Mountain Apache tribe. And that was such an honor to get to speak to tribal members to hear from them what their needs are and what they would like to see out of the next state superintendent of public instruction. And this Sunday at Corona Ranch at 27th Avenue and Baseline, we are having a huge fundraiser, and I'm inviting my LD11 neighbors to come out. We have 5 local bands who are all donating their time and their talent to support me in this race. It is a big lift to travel the state, and we are committed to doing this, my team and I. And my family, my husband was with us this past weekend. Over the past month, we have presented over a dozen times at 5 different counties, and that's just really getting us started. We have big plans to travel up to Page in September and Southern Arizona later in October, and lining things up to make sure that we represent the voices of the people across Arizona. And what drives me in all of this, coming from South Phoenix, as a first generation college student, was this deep desire to make a difference in the lives of students in my community. And this is where I've taught. I've taught mathematics for 23 years, middle school at the school I graduated from in Roosevelt, C.O. Greenfield Middle School. First graduating class, 1979, and then came back and did my first year teaching there. And then high school at South Mountain High School, and then at South Mountain Community College. Then I transitioned over to become an administrator at Glendale Community College, where I became the president for 6 years. And so think about the power of public education. From first generation college student right here in our community, product of Roosevelt, to leading one of the largest colleges in our state. And I finished my career as a commissioner for one of President Biden's equity commissions. So I like to say, from South Phoenix to the White House. And that's the arc of impact that I have had on our community and would like to continue to have with your support. So I'll drop the link in the website, and I'll drop the link in the chat, and hope to see you out this Sunday. Again, it's at Corona Ranch from 2 to 6 p.m. 5 amazing bands, so music and dancing and support of our community, a gift back to our community, because I am from the community. So thank you all. Thank you, Signa, for the opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you, Dr. Ruiz. Thank you, Dr. Buds. Next up, we're going to hear from several of the ADP chair candidates. We're going to start with Chanel Poe.
Thank you, Chair Oliver. Hello, LD11 Democrats. My former district, I got redistricted outside of LD11, but I am here because I wanted to talk about being fully aware that there is a lot of hurt and disappointment from this past election cycle as well, since our special meeting that we had. And, after the meeting, I started receiving calls of despair, people not feeling hope within the party. And I sat with that for a minute. It was something that I didn't take lightly. And I thought to myself, right now is the perfect opportunity for the Arizona Democratic Party to reach its full potential. But the only way that we're going to do that is by eliminating the infighting and by having some courageous conversations. When I think about 2010, we beat Donald Trump. 2020, we beat Donald Trump by 10,000 votes. And then that's a stark contrast from last year's election, when there was like 106,000 Democrats that didn't even vote. It feels like we're alienating our base. And if elected chair, I want to help re-energize our base. I want to help us have voter registration, targeted voter registration. I want to be able to support and uplift and elevate the leadership of our chairs and our state committee members. We also have an opportunity to really rewrite the narrative, right? There are things that are being said, and I think that the power lies within us. And what we need to do is that we need to start collaborating. Think about it. Trump 1.0, look at all of these democracy groups that popped up across the state and all over the country. Guess who they don't come to? They don't come to the Arizona Democratic Party. We're not even connected. We need to extend an olive branch to help build those relationships. When I think about Gen Z, guess what? The Young Dems, not affiliated. Why? The next generation voices, we not only need to have them at the table, but we need to learn how issues are impacting them. And what does that mean for our party? We need to go back to recommitting to our democratic values and really stand flat-footed in what we stand for. But we also have to be really focused on making sure that we are all being active, whether that's knocking doors, whether that's registering more Democratic voters, and also meeting the community where they're at. When we have our state committee meetings, it's great that we have our councils, and we can even add more councils if we would like, but it really doesn't mean much if we don't come back as a whole and be able to hear report outs. What specifically are these councils talking about as it relates to issues and how they're impacting working families? That should be our focus. Then we think about voters that have left our party, like the male voters. I would love to see us have something called democracy dialogues, where we are able to talk about how issues impact communities differently, so that we can learn what that means to us as a party and the decisions it is that we make. Again, I want to make sure that rural Arizona feels like they're included, and there's opportunities for us to be able to help support them. But we do have to be able to mend these relationships and rebuild these relationships, especially with those of our Democratic base. So we'll be having a forum, as you see someone already dropped in the chat, this Saturday, which gives you an opportunity to hear from the candidates and what it is that they would like to do. But in order to be able to be a strong force to move forward as a united front, we're going to have some courageous conversations, and we're really going to have to look at, are we making sure that we're treating all Democrats as if they belong within our space? Rebuilding those relationships, being thoughtful and innovative about our fundraising, being able to reach out and be able to have rebuild those relationships with some of our former donors, but also incorporate monthly sustained donors, for we can have working families who feel as if they're being able to contribute to our party as well. Earlier this week, I sent out an email to all state committee members that includes my campaign announcement, but also a survey. I want state committee members to know that they have a voice, and to know that we are going to start having conversations among one another. And what these conversations do is they, again, help us understand how policies impact communities differently, but they also help us refine our messaging. We should leave our state committee meetings feeling energized and well-informed about these issues and how they impact communities differently, so that we can stand in our truth and stand with our democratic values. So if you have not received the survey, I encourage you to check your spam or check your promotions. Again, my name is Chanel Poe. I am a former elected school board member. I am a 2016 party leader and elected official delegate. I also served on the Maricopa County Democratic Party as Sergeant at Arms in 2015. And I am a forever organizer, always out in the community, galvanizing voices, but also empowering people to know that they belong. And I believe that once we make all Democrats feel like they belong to our party, we'll start seeing the change that we wish to see. And let's not forget our low-hanging fruit, the inactive voters. So again, I hope to earn your vote on September 13th. And you can feel free to reach out to me at poe4arizona@gmail.com. And I'm easily accessible. And I look forward to hearing from you. And thank you so much for your dedication. And thank you, Signa, for having us.
Thank you. And all candidates, please drop your information in the chat so people can sign up and aid and assist you in any way. The next candidate, I believe, is Charlene Fernandez, who's also running for ADP chair.
Hi, Signa. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Democrats of LD 11. I'm Charlene Fernandez, and I'm a rural girl. I was born and raised in Yuma County, 5th generation Arizonan, and never left this county except for the 8 years that I served at the Arizona State Legislature as a representative, as a minority whip, and as the minority leader of the largest caucus in over 35 years. I also lived in the Phoenix area during my 3 years with the USDA as the appointee for rural development. I was the state director appointed by the President of the United States.
Your kennel, with your country. When your kennel up.
Let's see, I kind of lost my train of thought. So I'm working today to gather your support to be the next leader of the Arizona Democratic Party. Since I have been in the Biden administration for the past 3 years, I haven't been involved in the party. This is like the first 3 years that I have never, ever been part of this party. So as soon as January 20th hit, I applied to be a precinct committee person. I was approved on Cinco de Mayo, and now I have been organizing here in my area where I served as a party chair, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer. I was also a super delegate for President Barack Obama, and I was vice chair of the Arizona Democratic Party. I was also an elected board member, school board member here in Yuma County for 8 years, worked for Congressman Ed Pastor, Congressman Grijalva, and also served under Janet Napolitano as a community liaison in Arizona. Rural areas are very important to me. I just gained so much knowledge in the last 3 years in the rural areas as I went to visit and bring, the good tidings from President Biden. And I think during that time, I learned how people have lost trust in us and going into these areas and actually following through. When I got to USDA, I inherited a culture of people that didn't want to do any community engagement. They didn't want to do any outreach. It was something they were not familiar with for the prior 4 years. So I had to kind of switch that around, make sure people went out into the areas, and I found that our rural areas were responding to us. They knew that we did housing. They knew that we brought our farmers green energy grants and low interest loans, and they responded to that. And this is what I want to bring to the Arizona Democratic Party. I want to make sure that we not only reach out to people in Maricopa County and Pima County, but we get to all those outlying areas. I've talked to legislators already, and I told them, we're short on time right now. When that person gets elected on September 13th, we only have about 14 months to make sure that we do a good job. So I've told our legislators, you are going to have to be the ambassadors. You are not only going to have to fight for votes in your area, you need to go to those communities in other areas and talk about how we could just change the culture at the Arizona State Legislature if we could get 5 more people that are Democrats in the Arizona State Legislature, that we could bring more votes to our statewide. Never, ever, ever should our attorney general, that our governor have to wait 5, 6, 7 days to find out if they were elected. We should be electing them on election night. So that's my goal. That's my promise, is that we're going to get out into those areas so they can help our metropolitan areas to make sure that we help every single statewide candidate. I'm really a strong believer in voter registration. I feel that we've kind of left that behind. During my time as party chair, we were out at citizenship drives. We were in classrooms. We were at graduations of community colleges and seniors at all our high schools here in Yuma County, handing out voter registration forms to make sure that people register to vote. That was number one. I want this to be 15 counties, all in for Arizona, all in for our statewide, and to make sure that we are not just a blip on the map, that we are stronger than ever nationwide. I did that when I was at USDA, and I want to do it here today. So thank you so much. I really would appreciate your support. I'll drop my phone number, which is the best place to get a hold of me. I did get one bit of advice from someone that I called. They said, don't give out your phone number. too late. My phone number was on every sign that I put up all throughout Arizona when I ran my campaigns, and I'm going to do it again. So please text me, call me, let me know that you're willing to help me, that you'll support me, and that we're all in this together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Our next candidate is Les Myers. Les, you want to unmute?
Yes. Hello, all. I'm Les Myers, and I'm a candidate for this chairman of the State Democrat Party. I'm really looking forward to meeting the challenge of reimagining this party. We got going to bet we're going to have to hit the ground running. We all know the dismal look of that treasury. And I have every plan that we reach out to all of our donors and our elected officials to rebuild the trust and our cooperation that we need to unify and collaborate with everybody. We need to give them the confidence that we're going to step up and make this happen. Right now, we have probably the most difficult situations to face, but I think I have no idea, I have absolutely no doubt that we can make this work. I'm no stranger to talking to donors and working to rebuild and build teams. I'm going to send out a resume of my background, and I have a pretty extensive background in that field. We all have to work and quickly as we can, because as Charlene mentioned, we've got a very short time to make this all happen. You know, I think that if we look at get my notes here. If we reach out to all our donors and elected officials and create a new image that represents unity and cooperation within the party, invite and include and a consensus of our groups within the party, the caucuses, progressive. I always get a kick out of this progressive. Aren't we all progressive, or we should be? Sometimes when I hear that, I think maybe that's, especially on the national scene, it's an indication that they feel like this is a staid group and we're not reaching out. But hey, we reach out to the disgruntled Democrats. And when I say reach out to the youth, I'm talking about maybe we put together we put together some type of an input, whether it be a focus group or something with the young people. I've been talking to them over the last several months. They're busy, yes, but they need to feel like they're included in decisions. And I think that's very important. We need to also be present at the state legislature on key issues. We've got Democrat candidates that are, elected officials there, but we need to be there to support them. And make no mistake about it, between now and the next few months, we're going to be another victim of this whole effort to screw up our elections. And we need to be there to fight. I think too that we're going to try to put out something to tell Republicans and the independent voters. Nobody is very well, the appeal for both of our parties is pretty weak. But I think if we get a power or a platform that will tell people that the Democratic candidates, if you're a Republican, you can still vote for a Democratic candidate. And one of the most important things here in this is getting the big money out. If we don't get that money out, we're not going to salvage this democracy. You can see it every day eroding beyond any one of our ability to deal with it. So I encourage you to think about it. I appreciate your time. Thank you. By the way, you've got a great intro on your graphics on the opening are great, LD11. And you'll see me again in the other two meetings coming up. So thank you for the evening, and hang in there.
Thank you, Mr. Myers. I have some very strong help in the background. It's nothing to do with me. Next, I think I saw Josh Polachek, who is also an ADP chair candidate. Josh, you want to say some words?
Yeah, I appreciate it. And thanks for letting me on. Sorry, I was double teaming. We also had our ADP executive committee meeting tonight. I'm happy to announce we now finally have a budget to get the state party through the end of the year. And so we are looking forward to having that energy that we've been spending inside, and let's direct it outside. I like to keep this short. I prefer to have it a little more interactive. I'm not sure on a Zoom if that's possible. I am a current vice chair of the Arizona Democratic Party, former Corporation Commission candidate, retired union member, former elected shop steward. I was the executive director of the Pima County Democratic Party in 2020 when we delivered historic wins and helped get that 10,000 vote margin that we needed to send President Biden and Vice President Harris to the White House and to send Senator Kelly to the Senate. Over the last 5 years, I've raised nearly $1 million for the party, for individual candidates, and for my own campaign in hard dollar donations. I understand that we need a party that's going to fight and not just do things as usual. This is not a typical election. This is not a typical election year. We need to be ready to get out into the trenches. And we lost 340,000 Democratic voters in 2024. People know that things are not okay. And as Democrats, we need to be proud to stand up and say, things are not okay. Damn it, we need to change. And as chair of the Democratic Party, if I am honored to earn your vote, I'm going to take that message out to all 15 counties, all 22 federally recognized tribes. You will see me anywhere from Kiwanis clubs to indivisible meetings. We will be out there carrying that message, fearlessly fighting for the working and middle class. We saw in 2024, it was billionaires versus America, and the billionaires won. And if we, as a Democratic Party, cannot stand up and say, for example, Proposition 138, when the Republicans tried to cut the wages of the hardworking tipped workers in this state, and as a state party, we could not come up and say that's BS, and we as a party are opposed to that, that's shame on us. And I'm going to make sure that we uncover that shame, and that does not happen again. We need a dynamic leader who's going to take us not just through 2026, but to leave that strong foundation that shows not just the people of Arizona, but the people of America and the people of the world, how you fight back against those who try to take away our rights and our freedoms. And let's see if I can do it right. Nope, I did it wrong. Every time I think about what's going on, I think about back to 2020, when my daughter and Girl Scout came out to a car rally for Vice President Harris because we had somebody in the White House who didn't care about the millions of Americans dying from a virus and was trying to take away our rights, trying to take away what it means to be American. And we need an Arizona Democratic Party chair that's going to fight for the dream that has not yet been. And so I ask humbly for your vote. I will drop my website into the chat. And I look forward to this. Another vice chair, Shante Rouse.
You're freezing, Josh.
Don't think was able to.
All right. Looks like Josh is frozen. Thank you, Josh, if you can hear me. Thank you. I do see some other individuals that I know are running campaigns for next year. Our constable for South Mountain, Mahogany Kennedy. Mahogany, would you like words with our LD? Maybe she doesn't, she's away from her thing. Also, I do see there's going to be some tough races next year all throughout the state. And that's why we have to be ready. We have to be ready so that we don't have to get ready. One of them is a young man that I am very excited. And did he drop off? Where's he at? He was on here. Isaac, are you still on? He might have dropped off. All right. Is everybody able to hear me? Yep. Okay. All right. So Mahogany and Isaac has seemed to have dropped off. If he comes back, we'll give him an opportunity to speak. One of the things that we want to hit next is on our agenda. We don't have any of our state representatives on. Senator Miranda is recovering. She had surgery recently, and she sent me a message earlier that said that we just have to fight. We've got to flip the ledge, period, full stop. We cannot do anything until we flip that ledge. So she just wanted to send her thoughts, and if you all can send some prayers her way, do so. It looks like Josh and Isaac are coming back. Hold on. Let's see. Isaac is signing in. Isaac, if you can hear me.
Yes, can you guys hear me okay?
Absolutely. You're up, sir.
It's
Go.
my time.
It's your turn.
Alrighty, perfect. Good evening, LD11. My name is Isaac Young Jr. I stand as probably one of the youngest members in this community, but I say that with such passion and such a good positive way. Just a little bit about me. My name is Isaac Young, of course. I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, proud product of public education. And I shortly moved here for college and actively immediately hit the ground here, getting my boots on the ground, organizing, serving, being a public servant. I stand as the political director for Young Democrats statewide. And as of recent, last week, so you guys are probably one of the first to hear this, I was recently appointed to the Western Regional Political Director for our Young Democrats of America. So as a Young Democratic candidate, and especially as a younger candidate and a delegate to our YDA, I find it very important and imperative that we are often in these spaces to talk, to reach out to the community, to contribute in such a way. Outside of just the work that I do for the party, I am a young father, I'm a young husband, and I stand as one of the youngest educators in the state of Arizona at just 20 years of age. So a lot to say, a lot to project on other people about me. But I find it so important that I have this opportunity to speak to you guys as a resident of LD11. A little while ago in April, I decided to run for Phoenix Union Governing Board here in Ward 1. Before that, I was a candidate for Levine Elementary School District because I was just so excited to get involved and so excited to make an impact on our public education on a higher level outside of just the classroom. And as a past intern at the Arizona House of Representatives, a good friend of mine, Representative Aaron Marquez, he called me and he said, you know, I think you need to switch your race over. And I said, what are you talking about? And he was like, I want to help you switch your race over to Phoenix Union because a MAGA extremist had just been appointed to fill the seat of Nikita Ross, who was a loved individual. And I think it was so distinctive to me because in a way I had more purpose and I had more fight to fight for. So when I found that out, I immediately started to switch over all the paperwork and I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. Long prayers, long talks with my wife, long talks with my family. But I decided to make that decision because I think we often have to be a voice for the voiceless. And to see a MAGA conservative Republican to be appointed to cheat his way onto this board, it was so destructive to me. And I think, you know, all the fighting that I do, all the fighting that I have helped out with at the legislature, I mean, even the ruling that just got ruled today by a Maricopa court judge to help, you know, with these poor districts who face these issues that can't afford to raise property taxes. But we have Paradise Valley School District and Scottsdale Unified School District who are able to have these developing facilities because the wealth is there. So me coming from the hometown of Detroit, knowing what it's like to be a public servant at just a young age, a product of public education, I know what it takes. I know what we're going to need. I know the leadership that we deserve. And with my candidacy for this role, I don't take it lightly. I do think that it's very imperative to our students, to our district, some of the students that I have the privilege of teaching in my very own district here in Levine. I think that it's important that we take note into what we're dealing with on these governing boards. We have to pick fresh leadership. We have to pick stronger schools, and we have to pick brighter futures. And I can promise that my campaign will not only entail to the promotion of myself, but it will entail to the promotion of our students, ensuring that we transpire young educational success throughout the Phoenix Union Governing Board. So I thank you for allowing me this time, Madam Chair, and I thank you guys for allowing me to take time out of your lovely days and busy days to speak to you all. I'm hoping that I can gain your support, and I will drop more information about how you can help contribute to this race in the chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Isaac. Thank you for coming. I am currently sitting in Ward 2 as your governing board member for Phoenix Union. I am going to, just to let the LD know, we need your help. I need you showing up at the Phoenix Union Governing Board meetings, at the Roosevelt meetings, especially our meetings, because we do have an appointed MAGA, and he has started to clown. He wants attention. We're not going to give him attention. But he is powerless. There are 6 of us and 1 of him. We are going to run a slate of candidates next year for school board for Phoenix Union, because he runs his mouth a lot, the MAGA, and he told us that they're running a slate, and they tried it in Roosevelt last year, and they did get one on. But we will defeat them, because we are going to have a strong slate of candidates that are going to run for all of the districts that feed into Phoenix Union and Phoenix Union, because we have to stay public schools strong. So we in upcoming meetings, I'm going to form a PAC for just school board candidates to run slates of school board candidates, so that we can make sure that public schools stay strong in Arizona. So more to come. I do see the president of the Roosevelt School District Board, Dr. Hodge. Would you like words, or are you going to hit me because I'm calling on you?
I'm going to hit you because you're calling me. Oh, it's recorded, huh? Sorry.
Yes, it is.
Oh, dang it.
And they're witnesses.
Okay, I didn't mean that. I was just talking. Good evening, LD11. I do bring you greetings from the Roosevelt School District Governing Board, where a lot is happening. We are excited to start this year off. We're focused on academics, and our theme for this year is I Am the Genesis. And so basically what that means is that change starts with us, and we can't wait for anybody to improve our student outcomes. And so we're really, really excited about the work that we're doing. And I do plan on having someone from our team, a pair of us, come out next month and actually give you a presentation. We can ask questions and go back and forth about the work that we're doing in Roosevelt, because we want to bring our community along. And so, yes, please come and support us. We appreciate it. And thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hodge. I do see that your board superintendent, Dr. Portillo, joined us as well. Dr. Portillo, would you like any words?
Yes, thank you. We're just really excited to have all of your support, and do encourage you to come out to our board meetings and our different events to support us. You know, I have a wonderful team of leaders that are leading our campuses, our departments, and then also serving on our board. And we've made some significant changes to try to improve our services to our students and our conditions for our staff. So again, thank you so much for your support, and we're here as the Roosevelt District to support South Phoenix.
Thank you so much, Dr. Portillo and Dr. Hodge, for all the work you're doing to get our babies ready to come over to Phoenix Union and move forward in their lives. I see David Braun, who...
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Chair. On that note, I do want to thank the... oh, I didn't realize my camera was off there. I do want to thank the Phoenix Union High School District, who on Monday, we started sending our 8th graders over to South Mountain High School that are ready for high school level algebra. So thank you also for sharing your resources with us and supporting us in being able to educate our highest math achievers so that they're ready to be on that higher track for mathematics when they get to their freshman year. So thank you again for being so generous with your support of us.
Thank you, Dr. Portillo. Of course, it's our pleasure. Your family and Roosevelt produced me and many others on this call, so we're always willing to help. I would like to give one of our former exec committee members, David Braun, the mic to give us a talk about the upcoming luncheon. Dave, you want to take it over?
Actually, it is a brunch on Saturday, September 20th. Jot down that date, Saturday, September 20th. Maricopa County Dems are running their annual champagne brunch. So you can eat eggs and champagne. How delightful. But it's usually a rather well-attended event, and they usually have pretty good speakers. And frankly, it just seems much harder for whoever the people are who are preparing the food to mess up scrambled eggs than some of the banquets we've had in the evening. Anyway, this offer is going to be open solely to District 11 PCs. So District 11 PCs, please jot down my phone number. I'm going to give it to you because I'm going to ask you to text me. 602-254-3934. I'm going to repeat it. 602-254-3934. I bought a table for District 11 PCs, and I am offering all District 11 PCs, but PCs only, not spouses or boyfriends or girlfriends. They're going to have to pay. But for you as a PC, basically a free brunch membership attendance fee, which normally is $100 to attend that brunch. And it's fun. I seem to remember there must have been 300 or 400 people last year. And it's actually pretty good food. So that's Saturday, September 20th. The reason I'm asking you to jot down my phone number is I'm going to ask you to text me your name and your phone number, because I've got to give all that information at some point, a little bit further in time, to the county, so that they basically know that you're being paid for by my donation. So this offer is only open to District 11 PCs. We've got one table. If we have more people who are interested in it, we'll see what we can do about getting another table or at least additional seats. I want everyone to attend, to have a good turnout from District 11. That's a week after the September 13th meeting. And I think there'll be a good emphasis on getting unity back to the county party. By the way, I just have to ask Josh and Charlene, who were both candidates, you both seem to live out of Maricopa County. Are either of you planning to move to Maricopa County if you become chair of the party, since the state offices are here in Phoenix and the legislature is here in Phoenix, or are you planning to remain in your respective counties as chair. And I guess basically that's sort of a yes or no question from them. And at some point, Cigna, if you would perhaps pursue that with them, because I'd be interested in knowing that. But anyway, if you're interested in going to the September 20th brunch, my number is 602-254-3934. Please text me. Don't call me. Text me your name and your number, because I've got to give that information further down in closer to the event, to the Maricopa County Dems. And I also basically, they won't give us the address of the location, though they assure me it's probably going to be in Central Phoenix, until just before, a few days before the event itself. And I'm going to need to text you guys all that information. Please do not sign up if you're not going to show up. I mean, I cannot emphasize that and be fairly insistent. If you don't show up, that means somebody else who might be interested won't be able to get a seat. So if you are pretty sure that you're not going to sleep in on that Saturday, and you're really going to, show up at 9:45 for the brunch that starts at 10 o'clock in Central Phoenix, Saturday, September 20th. It should be a pretty good, interesting experience. And as I said, the food is pretty good. It's hard for them to mess up scrambled eggs too much. Very good.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your generosity, Dave. We appreciate you. It looks like our constable,
Signa?
yes,
Can you admit people back from the waiting room, please?
they're in. Everybody's in that's in there. I've let everybody in. So next up we have our South Mountain Constable, Mahogany Kennedy. Mahogany, it's yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Those are tough shoes to fill. I did that about 10 years ago. Very good meeting, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where ground zero begins, and there is so much work to do. Maricopa County ranks #1 in the nation in terms of evictions, and evictions are getting very hard. If you know of a neighbor or a friend that is going through that, start the process early about asking what comes next. Unfortunately, the chair talked about it. With that new beautiful bill that was passed, there's not much money in terms of help out there. And a lot of people need help right now. So I'm encouraging people to reach out to your community organizations. 211 is a help. Also your churches. There is help out there for evictions. Start that process early. You kind of have an idea if you know you're going to be a little late on monies for rent. Start that process early so that money can come in on time so that you can save your housing. That is the biggest thing that I have for you today, Madam Chair, and I thank you so much for the time.
Absolutely. Very important, very important. I do see that we have 2 former chairs on, Fern Ward and Patrick Brown. I don't know if they have any words for the collective, but whoever wants to unmute and talk to the collective, if you'd like, just unmute.
I unmuted, and I just want to again say, Les Mahogany did excellent meeting. Thank you. Very organized, even with just a laptop.
Yeah, it's hard when you don't have 3 screens to move stuff around. So yeah.
Excellent job. And thank you to all the candidates who presented. Tough decisions coming up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just echo Fern. Yeah, fantastic meeting, and excellent work with only 1 screen. Also, it's hot out there. Stay hydrated.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. If there's anyone in the collective, I'll give you a minute or so to jump in and any announcements, anything that you want to let our LD know about that we haven't covered or that we have covered and you want to emphasize?
Can I say something?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Signa. I know we've talked about the bill, right? And ramifications. I shared at a meeting earlier this year about what happened to my family. I was laid off from my job of 11 years in September of last year. The job I was supposed to retire with, I lost my pension, I lost everything. We were awarded SNAP benefits, as well as access, and promptly were taken away this spring, for my husband and I. The girls, because I have twins and they're 6, they stayed on there. But I have to refile again right now. And even though I have a new job, I still went 9 months without a job. They're getting through and explaining this to Access or to anybody on that side of the program is near impossible because the cuts have already happened. I am telling you this as not only for me personally, but when anybody who has ever dealt with this has struggled. I almost lost my house, but luckily my mortgage company worked with me. And I want you guys to know that this has already started. It's not gonna happen, it's happening. And I said this a few months ago, and let me reiterate, it is happening. My children are supposed to get additional Sunbucks because we have some food assistance to the tune of a whopping $100 a month. For a family of 4, by the way. Yeah, doesn't cover much.
Yeah.
We've never seen these bonus bucks. We've never seen any of this. This is the reality everybody is facing. And I kid you not when I say that you rip away Medicaid, Medicare, and SNAP benefits, people will not eat. I was fortunate enough to work my butt off when we had our SNAP benefits, and I restocked our entire freezer and pantry and everything else. But many families don't think ahead like that. So I am begging you and pleading with you, share my story. Give a face to the reality of what's happening. That's it.
Yeah. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you. That was important. And there are so many stories like yours or even worse, and anybody that ever has been, in need of assistance just for, a period of time to sustain them and their families. It's very important. So anyone else for the good of the group? We are so happy. We know that your time is valuable and that you spent it with us tonight. That is important to us because we have a big fight ahead and we need every single person. I might start next month's meeting with boots on the ground because that's exactly what we need. We need boots on the ground. Josh, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm sorry, my computer froze. My kiddo got on FaceTime while I was in this meeting. I just wanted to give a shout out to Shante Rothschild, fellow vice chair of the Arizona Democratic Party. She's also running for chair of the party. She wasn't able to make it tonight, but I do want to encourage everyone. There's going to be 6, 7, 8 people running, and I just want to make sure that everyone gets their shout out and is heard. Shante is somebody that if I weren't running, I would be voting for myself. And if I drop off the ballot, I'll be voting for her. So I just wanted to make sure she got the shout out she deserves.
Thank you, Josh. Anyone else? We have about 9 minutes left. Otherwise, I'll give you back your evening. Going once, going twice. Have a good evening. Thank you so much. And remember, next month, this month, next Friday, the 22nd, we are having our margarita mixer on 24th Street and Baseline. And then next month we will be in person, and we'd be happy to see your faces in the place. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, and see you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.